prank, cut. The holiday season is still months away, but this is Drew White's final trimming routine.
Ideally, you want to take about half the new growth off.
To make Christmas trees picture perfect.
What I found the best thing to do is start at the bottom and just draw your line straight where you want the top to be.
Kevin Wheeler is the owner of Wheeler's Christmas Tree Farm.
Me and my wife, our tradition was to always cut a tree.
And they wanted to help families create memories of their own. So in 2009, they planted their first set of trees.
Our first lot of trees, I think we planted 450.
At first, all Murray cypress trees. Now, a few varieties.
These are the Carolina sapphires.
Each year, adding a new lot.
When we plant our little trees, it's a constant battle from day one to keep the weeds, keep the grass from overtaking the tree.
Year 1, year 2, year 3, and finally, year 4, ready to be chopped.
It gets here before you know it. Last year, right here where we're standing with these stumps, this is what we sowed.
They plant new trees in between the stumps from the previous year's main plot. Wheeler says it's the joy of the Christmas season that drives them to work all year long, even in the blazing heat.
Just seeing everybody in the community come together and share the experience, and it's just awesome. That's what it's about.
But once you've got your line all around it, you've got to get the top, give them somewhere to put a star. But my favorite thing is really just making it look better. I mean, they're going to stand back and see how uniformed it looked. I mean, they're going to wonder how you got it perfectly square.
All right, girls. Where the chicken comes first. A motto co-owner Katie, her family,
and I'm the 4th generation to be here.
7 roosters, and 800 plus chickens live and cluck by. Those chickens raised here, 130 acres of pasture and forest in Wildwood, Georgia.
It makes for a healthier egg. So chickens that are raised on pasture that have access to grass and legumes.
Katie says successful pasture raising is very labor intensive, but worth it.
Their eggs have 5 times more vitamin D because they're outside. They're eating things that photosynthesize. They have higher omega-3 fatty acids. They reduce cholesterol instead of raise cholesterol.
More nutritious for people eating the eggs and a much healthier lifestyle for the chickens.
Chick, 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 chicks! They eat ticks and grasshoppers, and they eat clover and legumes, and they eat grass.
Katie says it's imperative to make sure the chickens are on fresh grass. That's where the eggmobiles come into the picture.
So the eggmobile is where the chickens sleep?
Correct. We wait till it's night, and they go into the coops at night to sleep where they know that they're safe. They're used to it. They sit on their roosts, and we just drive real slow and move them. So this is a chicken ladder, not a human ladder.
Entering the eggmobile. These are nest boxes where the chickens actually lay their eggs. In peak season, these chickens will produce 40 dozen eggs a day.
How many?
And you're not seeing things. Different kinds of chickens mean different color eggs, even green.
All the coops have slotted floors. And at night is when they do most of their fertilizing. It drops through the floors and goes on the ground. So when we move the coops, their fertilization stays behind.
Leaving behind a lot of nutrients for the pasture.
You can kind of see in the pasture where there's clumps of grass that are real dark and a little bit taller than other clumps. That's where the coops have been parked in the past.
They move the mobiles every couple of days.
So here come the dogs.
It's not just chickens out here. They have livestock guardian dogs that have bonded with the chickens to protect them mainly from coyotes.
And what they do is they patrol the area, they chase off predators, they mark their territory, so we have a pretty good control over the predation issue.
Keeping the chickens happy, the grass green.
We don't like to let it get gross. You know, if it starts to smell bad, you're doing it wrong.
And ultimately giving us the best quality eggs possible.
That's our main focus, is to make sure that my kids and my great-grandkids can all be here and farm and have be able to grow food for people.
you want to serve great food, it is impossible to do without great products.
That's why Bob, the owner of Bob's Brick Oven Pizza,
These vegetables are some of what I picked just this morning.
plants, picks, and prepares produce from his garden in Northwest Georgia for your table at the pizzeria.
Within a matter of a few hours, these will be sliced, put onto a pizza, and served.
But with the herbs, it can be a matter of minutes.
This is hydroponics. Hydroponic being hydro meaning water. So this is a soilless environment, grow environment.
Basil, thyme, oregano growing right next to your table.
The roots are able to grow right directly into the water and draw the nutrients it needs from the water.
Plus the hydroponic lighting.
The nutrients we use are going to be primarily a nitrogen-based nutrient because the nitrogen is what produces the foliage.
All this allows plants to grow rapidly.
It can grow as much as 3/4 of an inch to an inch a day.
Want some herbs for flavor? Snip,
Right now, this is the basil, and I've got some oregano and thyme that I've just cooked.
wash, serve.
For somebody to see you actually pick it off the stem right then and serve it right then, just like that right there. Awesome.
There is this disconnect that we have with our food. You know, where does your food come from? Well, your food comes from the supermarket, of course.
50% of the veggies for these tables are from Bob's garden.
We water these vegetables every single night.
For beekeepers like David Drake, today is Christmas, and the gifts are boxes of bees.
These right here are called packages.
David has been beekeeping since 1967.
Is there any particular package you want me to take?
At one point, he had 16 hives.
And these are the ones that were imported from Italy several hundred years ago.
David brings his bees home to install.
Okay, they're loaded and they're ready to go.
So we're getting a tutorial from one of the best in the biz, Gary Rains. He's the past president of the Northwest Georgia Beekeepers Association.
This is a 3-pound package of bees. There are about 2,500 to 3,000 bees in this box, in this package.
About 30 years ago, he had a couple of beehives.
I wound up with about 50 colonies of bees. Okay, we're gonna take the top off. Take the top off Jared's hive. You'll notice a top cover, an inner cover, which keeps the bees from gluing everything to the top cover so you can get it off.
He's taking the frames out first, so there's room for the bees.
And then we'll go to the package. I'm gonna bounce them very, very slightly.
Gary says remove the feed can, which holds the sugar water.
So this is the feed can.
Next, take out the queen.
Okay, the queen is in this little cage. We're going to open this end up and give the bees access to the candy. It's a soft kind of a candy. We're going to unceremoniously dump these bees into the box. 2,500 to 3,000 bees.
You're literally shaking the bees out of the package.
Yes. This is the queen. We're going to suspend her.
Now these buzzing bees are familiarizing themselves with the queen's pheromones. Once the bees have eaten through the candy, releasing the queen, they've accepted her.
This is a 50-50 sugar water solution.
For a couple of weeks, this will be their food until they have enough energy to fly around.
The honey is just kind of a nice little side, but pollination is the major value of honeybees is pollination. When the bees locate a source of food, an apple tree that's a source of food, they continue to go to that source of food, so they're probably the most effective pollinator we have.
Gary then shows us one of his more established hives and even lets me take out a frame.
1,500 bees just chilling in my hand.
All right.
Awesome.
This is a drone bee, a male bee. Don't sting me. That's a male bee. They do no work inside the hive or anything else.
Typical male.
Busy as bees, working as hard as bees, and helping the world as much as bees.
If we could get along and cooperate as well as the bees, it would be a great world.